right, you know what time it is. Live from the Bare Muscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So for today's workout, we've got a nice 4-rounder for you here. We're going to be doing 4 rounds of 21 calories on the row, 15 dumbbell power snatches, and 9 bar muscle ups. And we may be looking at this thinking, I don't have some of this stuff. I can't do some of this stuff. Let's put all those thoughts in the back of our minds here, guys. We're going to warm up really well. And we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it right where you are, using what you have and doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start this general warm-up. Here we go. Let's get some arm circles going back. Arm circles back. And as you know, my name is Coach Chris. I am a level 3 CrossFit trainer, which means I've logged thousands of hours over many years, helping many people just like you live their best life through health and fitness. Let's switch to arm circles forward. And let's get to know our Fit Crew a little bit better. How long have you been doing this program and how has it helped you? Let's move on to arms across the chest. Hug yourself, love yourself. And let's hear first from Bird Dog. Go ahead and say your name, where you're from. How long have you been doing this program and how has it helped you?
Hey, I'm Robin from Texas. I've been doing this program since March of 2022. And it has helped me stay consistent in my routine of not just when I stick with my workout, then I just fill in the blanks with everything else. And it's just helped me across the board with dieting, keeping up with just wanting to get my sleep in, plenty of water. And so I just stick with my workout and everything else seems to fall into place.
Awesome. So glad to hear those great results in your life. So thank you so much, Bird Dog. Let's go ahead and move on to the wrist wave here. And while we're doing the wrist wave, let's hear from Mighty Mouse. Go ahead, Mighty Mouse, say your name, where you're from. How long have you been doing this program and how has it helped you?
Hi, my name's Renicia. I'm from Georgia. I started this program in April of 2020, and how this program have helped me since then until from now. It helped me to improve my life, to get stronger, and help me to progress in different areas of my life that I needed help in. So it really helpful.
And you are definitely strong and strengthening us on your journey. So thank you so much, Mighty Mouse. Let's go ahead and move on to some high knees. High knees into chest, or if it works better, we could do some high elbows like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from V. Go ahead, V, say your name, where you're from. How long have you been doing this program and how has it helped you?
Hi, I'm V. I'm in Maryland and I've been doing this since November of 2021. Wow, that sounds kind of cool. That's fun. And this has helped me so much because just recently, a lot of things have kept me home, whether it's just taking care of people in my house or working. And so, honestly, going out to another external space to work out is just not practical right now, but this keeps me consistent. It's a super awesome program and I am not missing out. I'm gaining so much more because it's on my own time and definitely helping me meet those goals. So it's really helped me so much.
And thank you so much, V, for everything that you bring to our Fit Crew family. Let's go ahead and move on to some calf raises. Up on the toe, back on the heel, up on the toe, back on the heel. Or if it works better, we can do some wrist extensions like this. While we're doing this, let's hear from Bubbles. Go ahead and say your name, where you're from, and how long have you been doing this program and how has it helped you?
Hi, I'm Nakia from New York, and I've been doing the program since June of 2020. Yep, 4 years. And it's helped me tremendously. One of the major ways it has helped through these last 4 years is being able to deal with stress. So it's helped me to manage stress very well by being able to work out and get more fit.
Awesome. And thank you so much for de-stressing our lives as well with that wonderful bubbly smile that you bring to every episode. And let's go ahead and move on to some jumping jacks. Or we could do some stepping jacks if we want low impact. And so some of you guys have been doing this program for a while, and you may be wondering, hey, I've been seeing some results. It's been improving my life. How do I support this? The best way is going to be continue to be consistent. Keep following this program. Keep inviting others to join you. And many have chosen to support by getting on track. And we have different tiers of on track memberships that give you access to the full program so you can get full results. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, please click that link that's in this video, or feel free to message me directly for details. Let's go ahead and take a break from this warm-up, guys, and we're going to move on to the activation phase, which is where we're going to do a couple different moves that are going to help us to get specifically ready for today's workout. So the first move we're going to do is Supermans, and let's go ahead and have Bird Dog demonstrate 2 Supermans for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those Supermans are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 Supermans together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are laying face down. We've got the arms out in front of us, legs behind us, and we're going to raise those arms and those legs and hold the top for about 2 seconds before coming back down. And so good job here on these Supermans. Next, we're going to do some bird dogs. Let's go ahead and have V demonstrate 2 bird dogs for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those bird dogs are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's do 10 bird dogs together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are on hands and knees, and we're going to raise opposite arm, opposite leg, and we're going to hold the top there for about 2 seconds before switching sides. Now, it could be that doing this off of our hands and knees is a bit hard on those joints, in which case we could choose to do the dead bug. And let's go ahead and have V demonstrate 2 reps of the dead bug here. We're going to be laying on our back. We're going to have those arms and knees in the air, and we're going to lower opposite arm, opposite leg. And the big challenge here is keeping the other arm and leg stationary. And it takes some practice, but we will get it with time. But good job on these bird dogs or dead bugs. Next, we're going to do some good mornings. Let's go ahead and have bird dog demonstrate 2 good mornings for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then those good mornings are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's do 10 reps of the good morning together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We are folding those arms across the chest, and we are hinging by sending those hips back with a slight bend in the knee until we get that chest to just about parallel with the ground. And then we're going to squeeze those glutes until we get all the way back up to a fully standing, locked out position, all the way back up at the top. And so good job here on these good mornings. Next, what I'd like everyone to do is let's go ahead and grab a light dumbbell if you have one. By light, I mean 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less. If we don't have a light dumbbell, then anything else light will do. It could be a shoe. It could be a pillow. It could be a water bottle. It could be a teddy bear. Whatever the case, we always warm up light before we go heavy, if at all. So with this light dumbbell in hand, we're going to do some single arm deadlifts. And let's go ahead and have Bird Dog demonstrate 2 reps of the single arm deadlift for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those deadlifts are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 deadlifts together, 5 with each arm. So a couple things to keep in mind. On the start of each rep, that dumbbell is going to be on the ground in between the feet, both heads of the dumbbell on the ground. And we're going to get those hips super low. And then we are going to squeeze that gut and we're going to drive the ground away until we get to a fully standing, locked out position with those shoulders back at the top. And notice how V is breathing every single rep here. She's taking that deep breath in, bracing that core. Super important every single rep that we brace that core. And so good job here on these deadlifts. And finally, we're going to hit some strict press here. And let's go ahead and have V demonstrate 2 reps of the strict press for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the strict press is going to look like this. So let's go ahead and hit 10 reps of the strict press, 5 on each side. So a couple things to keep in mind here. On that strict press, that dumbbell is going to start on the shoulder, and we've got that elbow pointing forward. And we're going to press that bicep up and back into the ear. And then we want to go slow on the way back down with that elbow pointing forward the whole time. And so good job here on the strict press. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 3 moves that we are doing in today's workout. So the first move we're doing is the row. And if you happen to have some type of rowing machine, what I'd like you to do is hop on that machine and you're going to do a 1-minute row here at, a moderately high output. And we're going to do this for a number of different reasons. Different machines measure calories differently. And also, we just want to help you to scale to your ability on the rower. But most of us don't have these machines. We're the machines. We're going to do an at-home modification for the row that's going to involve the very same dumbbell that we're using in the workout. We're going to do some sumo deadlift high pulls. And so to demonstrate the sumo deadlift high pull, let's go ahead and have Bird Dog here demonstrate 2 reps of the sumo deadlift high pull for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then that sumo deadlift high pull is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here and let's do 10 reps of the sumo deadlift high pull together. So a couple things to keep in mind. We may be used to doing this with a kettlebell, and if you have a kettlebell and you prefer to use it today, that's completely fine. But if we're doing this with a dumbbell, then notice the preferred way to hold that is with the top head of the dumbbell, just like we see Bubbles questioning herself, but no, you got it right. And you are driving the ground away, getting to that standing position, getting the elbows high and outside. Let's remember to keep those elbows above the dumbbell at all times. And so good job here on these sumo deadlift high pulls or the row, if that's what we're doing. The second move that we're doing in today's workout is the dumbbell power snatch. And let's go ahead and have V demonstrate 2 reps on the same arm for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the dumbbell power snatch is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 reps of the dumbbell power snatch, 5 straight through on each arm. So a couple things to keep in mind. At the start of the snatch, that dumbbell is going to start on the ground in between the feet, both heads of the dumbbell on the ground. And then we are going to jump that up with the power of the hips and punch that bicep into the ear to lock that out. And we want to keep a nice straight path there. We don't want that dumbbell to get too far ahead of us. We want to treat the dumbbell as if it's a heavy zipper, keeping it that close to the body. And so good job here on these snatches. The third move that we're doing in today's workout is bar muscle ups. And that normally would involve a pull-up bar, and we would start below that and then pull ourselves up and above and press out. This is a very high skill movement that takes many of us years to develop. And many of us don't have a pull-up bar. So we're actually going to warm up right now with the at-home modification. Whether we have a pull-up bar or not, we're going to do some deck squats, which is a very interesting move that helps us in the transition of a muscle up to get those shoulders over the hips pretty fast. And, we're going to perhaps potentially do this with some weight, but let's practice without weight right now. And let's have Bird Dog demonstrate 2 reps of the deck squat for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then if you happen to have handles on your seats and you can press yourself up to a nice dip position, I'd like you to do that. If you feel comfortable doing some sit to stands, I'd like you to go all the way on that. But if we don't have either of those, then that's completely fine. What we can do for today for the muscle up is we're actually going to do some curl into forward press. And that's going to be another option for us from the seated position. So let's everyone join in and let's do 5 deck squats together. Now on the deck squat, we are going to lower ourselves all the way down. We're going to roll back, punch ourselves forward and stand up. And this could be very challenging for many of us. So it could be that many of us need to practice the elevated version first, just like we see Bubbles doing here. We could do this off of a chair. We could do this off of a bench where we roll back in that chair or that bench, and then we roll forward and stand up. And after we've had a couple practice reps, if we're successfully able to do this off the ground, then what I'd like you to do is to add some weight now to the movement. Let's have V demonstrate a couple weighted reps. And for today, what we're doing is after you punch that, we actually want you to keep it close to the chest on the stand-up portion of it. And so either no punch, or if you do punch, we need to pull that back into the chest while we're still in the low squat. And V is going to show us the weighted deck squat. And so notice how, yeah, she did punch it out, but then she pulled that back into the chest before the stand-up portion of it. And that was without any punch. So we see how that adds some challenge. Now, if doing that with the weight is very challenging, then hey, let's just do that without the weight. elevating as much as needed. As you can tell with V there, it is going to take some practice to get that down with the weight. But good job, no matter what version of the deck squat that you're doing. And if at this time, if you do happen to have a pull-up bar and perhaps somewhere to do some bench dips, let's go ahead and practice maybe some assisted pull-ups, maybe 2 to 3 assisted pull-ups, 2 to 3 bench dips, and we can do that version as well if you happen to have that apparatus. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been doing this program long enough to earn your first badge, and you'd like to start adding some weight to these snatches and possibly these deck squats, then let's start to gradually add some weight, doing about 3 to 5 practice reps at a time on each arm for the snatches until we get to the weight that we want to use for our division, whether we're doing scaled, intermediate, or RX division. Now, if we have not earned our first badge yet, or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then please, let's not add any weight. That super light weight that we were just using in the warm-up is going to be more than enough for us today. Seriously, it's very important that we have the right form and consistency with all our habits, as evidenced by earning that badge, before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number 1, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number 2, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. And let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number 3, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number 4, music. Super important and super personal. I know you don't want to listen to my music. You want to listen to your music. So have you given some thought to your playlist? Go ahead and get that playlist queued up. You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? This is a 4-round workout, and we want to know where we are at all times without getting lost. So it's helpful to have some type of scorecard or some type of system to keep track of where we are as we progress. Something that really helps along those lines is having the workout written down close by. So if you're a teacher's pet like Bubbles, winning the Teacher's Pet Award today, first to the screen, and we got Mighty Mouse very close, second place. We got Deb stealing third place on the podium with the handwriting award. And we've got V with the trusty whiteboard award, and then Bird Dog. Let's go ahead and take a teacher's pet picture just to show how prepared you are. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the workout back on screen one more time, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer, and we're going to do this Fit Crew workout here, 4 rounds, 21 calories on the row, 15 dumbbell power snatches on one arm each round. So we're doing all 15 on that same arm in the first round, and then 9 bar muscle ups. And so on that row, most of us are doing the 21 kettlebell sumo or dumbbell sumo deadlift high pulls, same dumbbell that we're using on the snatch there. And so let's make sure that if we've added weight, we're using an appropriate weight that we can do at least a good 10 in a row without stopping. Now, for those of us who happen to have a rowing machine, what we're looking for on that row is for it to take somewhere around 90 seconds or so, give or take. And so whatever you just got on that 1-minute test, that should be a pretty good number for you to use in the workout. maybe add a couple calories if you'd like an extra challenge there. On those snatches, once again, we're keeping it on the same arm for a whole round, meaning in that first round, you're using your left arm. On the second round, you're doing your right arm or vice versa, but all 15, take breaks as needed, but we're doing all 15 on the same arm in a given round. And then for those bar muscle ups, most of us are doing the deck squats, whether we're doing it off the ground or maybe we're doing elevated. If we've been doing these deck squats for a while and we want to add some challenge, let's add a weight and do the weighted deck squat, pulling that weight into the chest before we stand up. And that's going to add some challenge there. And if we happen to have a pull-up bar and perhaps a dip station, or we can do some bench dips, then yes, we can do 9 pull-ups or assisted pull-ups along with 9 dips or assisted dips every round for those 9 bar muscle ups. So your score is going to be the time it takes you to get through these 4 rounds of 21 dumbbell sumo deadlift high pulls, 15 snatches on the same arm, and 9 deck squats. So if you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here and we'll get this started. I'm going to give us a 10-second countdown, and then I'm going to highlight bubbles to get us going. So here we go, guys. 21 sumo deadlift high pulls. 15 snatches on the same arm. 9 deck squats. Starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off on these sumo deadlift high pulls, getting those hips super low, pulling those elbows high and outside. And let's make sure we keep those elbows above the dumbbell at all times, especially at the top of the movement there. But great work. And if we happen to have a rowing machine, then we're doing pretty much what we did on that 1-minute test, maybe adding a calorie or 2 if we want an extra challenge, but we're looking for these rows to take about 90 seconds, even when we're tired. But good work here, guys. And it's a similar movement pattern, whether we're doing the sumo deadlift high pull or whether we're on the row. We're using the whole body, starting with the legs, hitting that extension, finishing that pull all the way up to the chest. And so let's make sure we're getting the full range of motion each time. And we got bubbles on these snatches, remembering that we're doing all 15 on the same arm in a given round. We can break that up into a couple sets if we need to, but we're doing all 15 on that same arm. And then when we get back around to it in that next round, that's when we're going to use the other arm on these snatches. But great work so far, guys. Hitting these snatches. And we are on this. We got V on these snatches. We got bird dog on these snatches. Doing this thing. And we already got bubbles on some roly-polies, on some deck squats. Deb as well. Both doing the elevated version of this deck squat here. And we got Mighty Mouse hitting some sit to stands. And so getting all the way up, all the way back down. Great job there, Mighty Mouse. And we got V as well. Hitting these weighted deck squats, rolling forward, standing that up, and notice the added challenge of keeping that weight close to the body. Bird dog hitting these like a pro. Hitting a little bit of a punch, but then pulling that in before standing up. So most of us finishing off this first round, moving on to the second round, and everyone is on track to finish within today's target window. And these target windows are the best way to measure our progress through this program and to scale appropriately. And the way the target windows work is, after we've been earning badges, we want to perhaps kick things up a notch and decide, hey, what's the right weight for me to use? What's the right movements for me to do? And the answer to that is always going to be what's going to allow me to finish within the target window. And perhaps even mixing and matching options as needed. Some of us are stronger in certain areas and working on other areas. So let's challenge ourselves while we need it and really push ourselves where we can. But as long as we're making choices that help us to finish within the target window, that's how we make progress. But nice work here, guys. We are doing this. Finishing off this row, hitting these snatches in the second round. And we got Mighty Mouse on these snatches as well, punching that arm into the ear. But nice work here, guys. Hitting that punch. Using those legs to drive this movement. And keeping that dumbbell close to the body, so we don't want that getting way out ahead of us. We're treating that dumbbell like it's a heavy zipper. So keeping it close, punching that out. Using the legs. The arms are there just to finish. And we got Bubbles finishing off round 2 of these roly-polies. So nice work there, Bubbles. B as well. Hitting these deck squats. Rolling forward. Standing that up. Mighty Mouse on these sit to stands. Nice work there, Roy. Or nice work there, Mighty Mouse. And let's do this here, guys. Hitting these high pulls. Going into round 3. Keeping that dumbbell close to the body. Driving with those legs. Getting the elbows high and outside. Let's remember on the rower as well, this is a full body move. We are starting with those legs. Finishing that lean, finishing that pull before going back in. So we're hitting that lean forward, lean back. Nice work here. Deep into round 3. Finishing off some snatches. And let's remember to keep breathing deep as well, guys. We are breathing deep. giving our muscles the oxygen they need to keep going. Hitting some roly-polies. Still hitting all the snatches on one side each round. Switching arms each round, but all 15 on the same arm. We are building some single arm stamina. We've been noticing this more and more in these workouts. And so we definitely have to think about our pacing when it comes to that. But the more we've been doing this, hopefully we're hitting bigger and bigger sets on the same arm. And there goes V, just about closing out round 3. Bubbles as well. And it looks like Deb is on the victory lap for round 4 here. And we know what to do when we cross that finish line. We hit that buzzer, we yell time, we cheer on our family. So let's keep working toward the finish. Let's keep moving well. Let's cheer each other on here, guys. And we are breathing through this row. We are breathing through these snatches. And we are almost there, guys. We got Deb on this last set of roly-polies. We got Mighty Mouse as well on this last set of sit-to-stands, making their way toward the finish line. And here we go, almost there. Mighty Mouse across the finish line. Deb as well, almost there. Let's go. Just a couple more reps. And we got Bird Dog on that row. We got Bubbles on the last set of deck squats here. V finishing off some snatches, about to join in on some deck squats. Deb across the finish line. Great work there, Deb. Bubbles about to join across the finish line. Just a couple more reps. V as well on this last set of deck squats. Bird Dog on these last snatches here. We are almost there, guys. Let's keep pushing, and there goes Bubbles across the finish line. V, almost there. Pushing through, standing up. And there goes V across the finish line. And here comes Bird Dog, making her way across the finish line, almost there. And there goes Bird Dog across the finish line. Loving these victory dances. I'm loving the energy. And now I'm about to love the stretch we're about to do, which is the best part of the workout, the cool down stretch. This stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch we're going to do is the seal stretch. And that's going to be where we're laying face down and we are going to push up like this, letting those hips sink into the ground. If this is a bit hard on the wrist, then we can do this off the elbows like this. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're going to get those arms up and pull back like this. And while we're doing this, let's reflect on the workout. Let's do some high-low buffalo. So high, what is one thing you feel you did well in today's workout? Low, what is something you want to do better the next time it shows up? And buffalo, what is something surprising to you about today's workout? While we're thinking about that, let's switch. We're going to go from the seal into the frog. So we're going to get those hips back, knees out to the side, open up those hips like this. And while we're doing this, let's hear from bird dog. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to get those hands down and pull back like this. But what is your high-low buffalo bird dog?
High would be the calorie rows. I felt confident that I was keeping my pace the whole time, didn't slow down, so it was consistent throughout the workout. My low was the weighted deck squats. I could tell I need to work on not punching it out as much, so something to work on for sure. And then my buffalo would be how out of breath I am for just 4 rounds. This was a tough one. I didn't expect that.
It's always surprising, we think it's going to be one way on paper, but then we get into it and it feels a little bit different. But we learn with time to manage our expectations and to work well with what we got. So good job there, bird dog. Let's go ahead and switch to supine twists. We're going to lay on that back. We're going to get the one knee into the chest. And we're going to twist, pull down with that opposite hand. And while we're doing this, let's hear from V. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're going to twist toward the right, holding on to whatever we need to. So what is your high-low buffalo V?
Okay, my high would be pacing and breathing. It's really fun. I know that for years you've been saying pace, breathe, each rep, so that just getting to this point and really being able to harness that in feels really, really good because it's still good, a lot of work, but you're taking them in stride. No pun intended. Anyway, okay, so then my low would be the row. I could work better on my row. And then the buffalo would be, I'll say, my snatches. I was happy with some of the things, especially keeping it on one side. That shows a lot of endurance. So it's fun to go get it, and then also seeing some goals that I can go after.
Yeah, lots of growth. And as always, we want to be hungry for even more, which we love to see that personal ambition and some goals that you want to set for yourself and reach, which you have been doing. So good job there, V. And let's go ahead and move to supine twists on the other side. We got the other knee into the chest, and we are twisting the other way now, pulling down with that opposite hand. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Deb. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we're going to twist toward the left, holding on to whatever we need to. But what is your high-low buffalo, Deb?
Okay, sorry. My high were the power snatches. I love that move along with the squats, but my high was really controlling the weight. And when you were saying like a heavy zipper, I was like, slam. I was doing a really good job. So that was my high. My low was the rows, or for me was the deadlifts, the rows. And it was a low because you had said to use the same weight, and I wanted to switch the weight to a heavier weight, but I probably shouldn't have, but that was good. The buffalo was getting control of my breathing. So I was like, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, hold it. I was like, come on, Deb. So after a while, I had to stop and really get control of my breathing because it was really controlling me. But we did it and we didn't die. Thanks, coach.
That we did, and now we're even more alive than ever. So good job, Deb. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. Let's go ahead and hit this sweaty selfie, because does this count if we don't take this selfie? Let's flex on the camera here, guys, and let's take this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's go ahead and put the fist in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps, fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Big crew.
Hey, crew.
Wow.
Thank you guys so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.